Just a very quick introduction. We do these calls now every week. The idea is that all the analysts can join, and we can also invite some friends to experience the community. And every week we talk about a different topic. These calls will also be very valuable for new analysts later to watch on YouTube. The one from last week just came out, and there's a lot of good questions from everyone. So today, just want to jump in. The topic is we want to share the best techniques, tips, and tricks how to find new tokens. I think in the last week or 2 weeks, we've experienced how well the mechanism works of bringing projects in via the spotlight and then having 5 of us do a quick review with the micro reviews and then pushing on the better projects with the deeper reviews. That's working really well and highlighting a lot of great projects. So now if we can all learn from each other, better techniques to find new projects and bring them in, that can elevate the quality of all the coins that we find. Maybe, Dan, do you want to start? I know you said you have a list of 20, but already in the chat here itself, we have a section where we can continue contributing tips, and the best ones we will add to the docs section so that you always have a shorthand to go there and get all the best tools to do your research.
Yes. All right. This is called bubblemaps.io, and you can search on a lot of different chains, and it's one of the tools I use to take a look at what's going on with the wallets. So I'll just do a little quick search for Pepe here, and it brings up this really cool map, and it'll show you the different wallets here. Like right now, Binance is hidden, but you could turn Binance on. But that wallet obviously is the central exchange wallet. But when it is on, you can see what other wallets it's tied to and touching. And you got OKEX in here. We could take out MEC. We could take out KuCoin. We could take out Gate. Swap. Gemini is already done there. Take out Huobi. And I'm guessing some of these other wallets. So when you're seeing this is a wallet and it knows it has a connection to this other wallet. So this actually may be the same entity. That may be the same entity. So this gives me a gauge of what's going on with the wallets. And then at first glance, because it has them all sorted high to low, you can do a quick, 10th biggest wallet here only owns 0.7 of the tokens. It's probably not too bad. You can highlight that and see that's that wallet, which has a strange relationship with these other wallets. So I might unhide that one as well. So some of these, there's something going on with these here. I might try to, before I would share something with you guys, I might try to get rid of some of these other, it's highlighting everybody that's tied down there. I don't know what that is. If that's some kind of blocker for the team. I don't know a lot about the Pepe structure. But anyway, sometimes I weed those out, and then you get what's left over, and you get the regular people. And look for how distributed it could be. In this case, I would say this looks pretty distributed. There's a lot of people that own just a fraction of a percent. There's probably some other cool things. I mentioned like it's on a 9-hour delay here. I think that's part of the free service. You can get it more up to date. People that watch wallets and stuff.
Thanks a lot, Dan. That was great. I think what is very interesting to me is where do you go find new coins? Dan, sorry if I go back to you, but how did you find the MVC, for example?
MVC came to me because I was in OTC. So that's a very one-off. I normally find projects just through all of my networking and Twitter and people I follow and different Telegram groups, or in the pre-sale space, there's a raise for something. You go look it up and see what it is.
For me, it's the same as Daniel. I'm on my phone, so it's not going to be easy for me to share my screen at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I think for me, I don't use much tools, but I'm thinking it might be good at some point to create a script. And I spoke to the TE Academy about it. Like you can assess based on the liquidity pool size what gonna be the volatility if someone buy so much dollar on the price. I've posted some blog posts about this on Cyrator and on Medium. So if anybody don't understand my maths, how I came up to the result, maybe at some point I can do, I don't know, a video or I could explain with my computer like how I'm calculating it. But I think it could be converted to a tool to do it automatically, so we could screen tons of projects instead of me doing it manually.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. You're looking mostly for tokens that have because you're just looking for cannot scan for projects that have special technology or something like that.
So when I analyze a project on the tokenomic side, so I go on CoinGecko, I go check if it's listed on a decentralized exchange, because it's a lot harder to assess on a centralized exchange. And then you can check what is the size of the liquidity that is on Uniswap, let's say. Then you can check what's the volume and all those things. But just the liquidity alone, then I use the formula Y times X equal K. So I calculate then if someone buy for $100, much that increase the total value for what's in circulation. That's the number I care more about. Sometimes I look at what's the fully diluted increase, because often the thing you buy for $100 and it increased by millions of dollars, the total value for all the participants. That's not gonna go well eventually, especially when it's in circulation already. When it's not fully vested, it may not be so bad, but at some point it's like I know Elia and Daniel were talking about this, I think. Like if you have a vesting schedule that is like daily vesting, it's not as bad as if there's a big increment every 3 months or every 4 months or something like that. That causes a lot of problem, especially when your liquidity pool is shallow.
So you're basically looking for tokens that have a healthy tokenomics like that.
For me, yes, and that's why I was super interested in the one Daniel came up, the microvision chain, or what I forgot what it's called, but
that's it, microvision chain.
Yeah, because I think they didn't pre-allocate tokens, so to me that's the best way to do it, honestly, because you don't have to worry about any of those aspects. And the thing, if you want to assess this on Binance, let's say, on your trading view, you can click on the chart that there's a label called depth, and it gives you some sort of chart where you can see that what is the potential buying volume if the price go down, and what is the potential selling volume if the price go. So you can see how much orders are stacked already, and will trigger if the price moves. Sometimes you can get fooled by that because some market makers are making orders, but they remove them as quickly just to trick other participants. That's what I'm guessing, but overall, it doesn't change that as fast usually. But that gives you an indication of how price, the volatility will be. It's good to look at. So you don't use that to trade long term that much. It's more short term.
I can add a couple of cents here, guys. Sorry, regarding project works, it's more about the depth of liquidity. Totally, it means that how much money do we need to move the price for 2% up or for 2% down. You can find it on CoinGecko, for example. There is a column. It's about depth liquidity. It totally makes sense. And for example, we use special scripts, like just code, when we track literally what Patrick just said. If someone buys for a certain amount of money, how it affects the full market cap and the price in the future.
Okay. It's quite interesting. I think this. Sorry, Dan.
It's a real simple one, but does everybody get the CoinGecko newsletter every day? So this email every day, usually around 7 o'clock, comes in, and obviously it's got a couple good articles. But what I always check out right here is this section and look for potentially something running. So whatever this meme is right here, which I'm not going to touch, but 10,000% up. And usually it has to do with searches. They used to do the
because
top
of
movers,
Elon Musk's tweet.
Is it
regarding this lady?
I have to admit, I only know 1, 2, 3 of these projects right here. So any given day, every day, there's always a good something moving up, something moving down.
They have an article on account abstraction. That's the stuff I've been talking to you about. You see the mass adoption one right below the searches.
Oh, good. Talk to us next week or the next couple of weeks about that. That's great. Yeah, quite honestly, it's very simple, easy to digest little newsletter every day, and I usually find some nugget in there that's interesting. So that's somebody's just looking to find something that's trending. There's almost always something there trending.
Interesting.
Okay, I just throw that out.
Yeah, very interesting. Does anyone else want to share like a tool that they use a lot in their research or platform to either find new tokens, or as Dan shared in the beginning?
If no one, I can try to teach something. Let me share the screen. Just a quick brief about some basic tools, because let's say, for example, Dan just mentioned that he's tracking different social narratives, these digests from CoinMarketCap, but we usually prefer to collect the raw blockchain data and try to evaluate it as much as possible. So the first one is Dune Analytics. I guess everyone knows about it, but If SQL language, for example, you can create your own custom dashboard. Let's just layer 0 dashboard as an example. There is a hype right now about potential airdrop of layer 0. I guess you all know about it. So here you can just, let's say, predict, will you be eligible for this airdrop? You can add your address here, and there is a lot of metrics here. So it's all about raw blockchain data and on-chain activity. So for example, if you want to know, is it a good activity in some network or just fake activity? It was with Optimism Network several months ago. And I'll send this link and explain in the chat just to save time right now. The next one is something similar. It's Flipside Crypto. They have pretty good visualizations, and for example, memcoin whales. And if you are trying to catch some memcoins right now, I'm not sure it's still a good idea, but you can find a lot of info here. The tool I personally really like, it's Debunk. Firstly, it's a good portfolio manager for your wallet, but moreover, you can track some smart money in big whales here in pretty convenient way. So you can just open, let's say there is a whale, I don't know who is he, 21 million, and just follow his transaction. It's much more convenient than to follow his transactions across all block explorers, right? You don't need to open Etherscan, Polygon Scan, BSC Scan, and so on. It's pretty popular, of course. Everyone knows about it, and it's, in my honest opinion, it's the first tool you want to use and the first site you want to open to know what happens inside particular DEX or lending protocol, etc.
Actually, I have a question. If you go back to the whale Dbank.
Memcoin Dbank, sorry. Yes.
On Dbank, yeah. So you're basically hunting for whales here and checking their movement. So.
But you should do it in a smart way, of course.
But what is the how do you actually do that?
I mentioned in the beginning that these are only basic tools, but when you want, let's say, when you're gonna make it and when you want to make money and do it in a smart way, you need to use a complex approach, of course. Because if you use only one tool and just blindly follow, for example, this guy's transactions, of course you are not gonna make it. But for example, if we are talking about this one, it's pretty convenient to see his funds allocated in different networks. You can see, right? Because just imagine or just try to follow this address in different block explorers. You'll be tired after 5 minutes because it's really too hard to follow all.
So you're basically looking for people who have interesting portfolios, and then you look on there if there's a project that you don't know yet and might be interesting. Is that something that you do?
Yeah. Moreover, let me show this. It's a rating on the Dbank. They have their own rating.
There you go.
Just to save time, I won't explain about this rating. But when I told about a complex approach, for example, you need to have a script. It's more about programming stuff, which tracks intersections of different addresses. For example, these whales, just an example. And if this script, bot, whatever, send you a notification that some of these smart guys, for example, if some of them have intersections in aiding liquidity in some brand new protocol, no one knows about it. At least you should pay attention to this protocol, right?
Okay, very interesting.
It's one of hundreds ways. Yeah. And let me finish with a couple of other resources. Arkham Intelligence, I guess you all know, especially if you scroll Twitter. Yesterday it was a big scandal about Silk Road and the government Bitcoins. Yeah. Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, no, it says it was my WFF last night when the market dropped out.
Yeah, and everyone now is talking that it was the reason that all market crashed a little bit. But the main reason to use it, if you want to investigate and to follow where money comes from and where money goes to. I'll send the link, of course. And they have pretty good visualizer, but I can show it right now because it's empty. It's not my main account. The next one, it's token terminal. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty convenient to see such metrics like this. For example, you can, it's Arbitrum, and you can compare their revenue, and I don't know if they show it correctly right now, but just an example, just about overlapping different charts on each other. So you can compare the revenue and make some conclusions. Right. And the last one, it's private because it's a Messari Pro subscription. I guess you all know about Messari, right? Like one of the most popular analytical agencies, I would say. And if you want to follow some big VCs, even small VCs, or just to track their movements, these Messari guys, they update this table pretty fast. So we can see that 9th May framework ventures and other guys, so they invested in 12 million, some Pudgy Penguins, shitty NFT collection, which raised 2 days ago, $9 million. I don't know why, but still. And yes, it's very useful when you want to track, say, the venture activity of a particular project.
This is a paid...
But you need a subscription. I'm not sure if I can share this link, if this link will work, but I guess I'll try.
How much is a subscription to this?
I don't remember the exact amount. We can see, but
it's reasonable. I think it's less than
it's not the great amount. It's much more cheaper than Nansen, for example. I guess you around about Nansen. If no, I can share as a short article about Nansen. It's a really useful tool, but it's very expensive. If you
I almost feel you need to develop a whole course for us.
Yeah, I'd say that because, for example, DeFi Llama is one of my favorite tools, and there's so many aspects of it. There's like, you can see what funds are being raised and what rounds of different projects. You can dive into the chains for total value locked and compare all kinds of nice stuff. So yeah, each of these is like a core. He's just covered a lot of beautiful tools very quickly. Hopefully, exactly. I think I have them all.
Just to finish it, it only makes sense if you trust DeFi Llama, right? And if I trust DeFi Llama, so why I told that we prefer to retrieve the raw blockchain data. Of course, it's much harder. And for example, you can use Dune Analytics, which I mentioned before, but you need to have some technical knowledge. Yes. But as far as I know, DeFi Llama is pretty accurate.
My question then is a little bit like, if also for how we design the platform, how we design the spotlight, like how many projects doing all of these, how many projects do you come across per week or per month that you actually find interesting with these kind of approaches?
Is this question to me?
Yes. You just showed this list, right, of all these VCs putting tens of millions of dollars in there, right? And I'm just guessing that if you go through all of them, how are those projects generally quite bad, or how many?
The majority, not only quite bad, but the majority is totally bad, scam, shitty projects.
Wow.
You can name it whatever you want. It's only my opinion because I have like a bit of professional deformation. Because I'm in the market since 2017, and we use pretty strict filters in our mind. Yeah. So we don't, according to Curate and the great Spotlight feature, I personally don't want to put, let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's say not solid projects, not fundamental projects. Because why I mentioned in the last call about speculation thing.
Yeah.
Because it really makes sense, and if one of the main goals of Curator to become a trustful source for users, and especially for newcomers in the crypto world, right? We need to make it legit, trustful, decentralized, but very robust platform in terms of revealing these new sketchy projects. Hundreds of projects launch every day, better than me. And you need to use this, what I want to say, that you need to use a complex approach, not just if you use one tool and you just take every project you find in the tool.
Yeah.
So I have a question. The tool that you showed earlier with the VC's investments, you can dig up at what price they bought the tokens and how much and all that stuff?
They don't show the price, because if they show the price, Patrick, better than me, what it means, right? Because our industry is still not so good, I would say. A lot of this type of information not disclosed usually.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Especially,
So the VC, the way they work is that they have to, if they raise $100 million fund, they have to return $1 billion within 10 years. That's usually the ballpark ratio. So you could extrapolate that if they do invest in a project, at what price, once they get to 30x or 100x,
yeah, of
the
course.
moment they
And
invest, they're most likely going to sell.
yeah, it would be really great if we know these prices, right? And big projects, they usually, prior to the TGE or their listing, they disclose this information, right? And just look at all projects which were launched on CoinList, for example, or I don't know, or I'm not sure about all launchpads. Maybe Daniel can expand on this. But as far as I know, a lot of good projects, they disclose this information about prices, but it's only their words. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know their terms of deal with market maker, for example. I posted a short review about Sui progress. Maybe you already saw it on the Curator. There is a lot of fat right now that Sui tokenomics is really predatory in tokenomics because they have a big percentage of allocation to market makers, and they usually use these option style deals. I guess you know it, right? About call options, like a loan. They suggest the project to do market making for, let's say, for free. I'm not sure is it really for free, but maybe you can tell us something interesting about it because you know about market making more.
Yeah, a bit. The thing, I think, honestly, there's tools that could be built for that. Like I'm going back to the VC world. If it's, let's say we're talking about Andreessen Horowitz, they invest a lot in crypto. If they raised their fund 3 years ago, that means they have 7 years left. If there's any way to track what's their current performance, you know when they're gonna cash out, essentially. At what price they would, at least, they would start doing it. Because they do have to return the money. So they're not gonna keep the token forever.
Got it. As far as I know, Messari, at least 1 year ago, they had a table on their website. I don't remember was it free or not, but they had a table of portfolio of different VCs, and A16Z was there. We should give a floor to another guest.
Actually, I think we maybe changed the topic because we did want to briefly discuss here because we're overhauling the point system. So it would be great to get everyone's feedback a little bit, what they think. So before I introduce that, I just want to say this call until now, it was a little bit to introduce this new chat that we have, where hopefully we continue after this to keep sharing. Every time you have a new tool or something, just drop it in the chat, explain a little bit so people can share the tools that they have and become better analysts like that, where we exchange the best tools and explain them, just help each other be better analysts. So I'm very happy for all the information so far, but hopefully we can keep that going. So now, I would like to just introduce quickly, we are building a new feature called the Super Upvotes. This has been in discussion for months now, for 2-3 months already, because it's difficult to give out upvotes for many reasons. On the one hand, it's a little bit strange that as analysts, if you give out upvotes, you're basically giving away points of yourself, right? On the other hand, it feels very good to give out upvotes for good reviews that are very well done. So the way we want to do super upvotes is that basically analysts will get, I think it is 7 super upvotes per week. So that means basically once a day you can give a super upvote. And this super upvote will be very important because it allows the platform to put the ones that have the most super upvotes to the top. They will carry more weight in the ratings. It will also help us in marketing that we know which ones are the really liked, great reviews that we can share on Twitter and highlight on the platform and all these things. So it's very good from various perspectives. We are also building a whole experience points system. Analysts that give out super upvotes, once they've given out 50 or something like that, you can level up and then you'll get multipliers on your earnings and you'll get other benefits. So that the giving upvotes isn't just handing out. It's something that gives you experience. It means you're getting something back from it as well. right? So as we're doing this change, we want to change how many points people are getting for writing reviews, for getting upvotes, and for getting super upvotes. Until now, we've only given points for upvotes from other analysts because it would be quite easy for someone to create a lot of accounts and hand out upvotes and play the system that way. However, with this change now, we also want to give points when regular users who are not analysts, they need to have at least an email verified account, but they will also give you points when you get regular users to upvote you. Very briefly, our initial idea, these numbers, we need to put them out there. We need to see how they work, and then we need to tune them until they give us the desired effect. So for now, we are thinking that regular upvotes will now only give 1 or 2 points. It's the super upvotes that will still give 20 points because they're much more rare now and much more targeted. And the writing a post, either 5 to 10 points. That's our general kind of idea. Anyone who would like to comment on that, either just say what you think maybe a good point distribution is, but what also be very valuable to know is generally how you feel about the point system, where you maybe think there have been too much or maybe where there has been too little, so we can understand that a little bit. Who would like to say something about that?
I just want to make sure I understand correctly. So let's say writing a review, like in a normal case, would be 1 or 2 points, you said?
Yeah, maybe 5 points. We're saying that a regular upvote would be 1 or 2 points, writing a review 5, and then a super upvote maybe 20. That's the kind of current ratio that we have in mind, but we'll have to see how good that turns out.
For me, I think I value a vote more than the review itself. Or maybe the points for writing the review kicks in after, but say that you write a review and nobody ever upvote because it's pretty average. It seems like an upvote should be worth more, or it should make you get the full points or something like that. Yeah.
So you were quite, with how it was until now, with 10 for writing review and 20 for an upvote, you thought that was pretty working well? Or?
I think so, but like the points could be lowered. But the thing is, an upvote, if you're being validated that your review is good, then the review should have its full point or something like that. Like it's or the other way is that you have if you write a review, you get a low amount of points, but then when you start getting upvote, it kicks in. It should be worth more because that's how we can filter what is a good review versus not, and it incentivizes people to write good review too instead of going for quantity.
So just to make it a bit extreme, just to make a case, so you would say I write a review, I basically don't get points until I get 5 upvotes, and then I get 100 points for my review immediately, kind of something like that.
That's the idea. Like I think that's extreme, but yes, that's the idea.
Sure, yeah, I just wanted to make a case to it.
Yeah.
Okay. And
that's
then
my
after
view.
that,
could be wrong.
And then after that, if I continue getting upvotes, then you continue getting 10 points per kind of upvote kind of thing?
That I don't know. Maybe there's a saturation point or like an exponential decrease or something. I don't know.
So about the super upvotes, the important thing here is that the idea is if you've given out 50 of them, that you can level up. And the level up would be quite a significant increase, 50% kind of increase on your earnings. So it's something that you really look forward to. And
but wait, okay, that could be abused in this way also. Let's say that I just super upvote people at random. I don't even read the review. I just send super upvote. Then I just boosted my earnings.
Yeah. So the point with super upvotes is you can actually scrutinize them. Obviously, we have a page where you can check out every super upvote. And if it's only 50 and someone is about to level up, other people can quickly go and check if those are random reviews or if they're actually good. And if they're not, they can flag those because it's something that can be scrutinized. Regular reviews, regular upvotes, you give out so many, it's quite hard to scrutinize that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's actually good. You don't want to over-engineer too much either at this moment.
Exactly. We want to keep it simple, but this is something that has been an issue now for a few months, and it will be very important to get this right moving into the future, because we need to incentivize people to give good feedback. And that's why it's very important to discuss it here and get your guys' feedback, how you feel about the points and the upvotes and potential ideas for improving it.
I'd like to throw something out there, Mark. I think some of us, obviously, that have been around longer and have had more conversations with you, see pieces of other things that you said. So this isn't going to maybe make a lot of sense to some of the newer people, but to listen to you talk about the proof of curation for the non-analysts and the staking and the super upvotes that you would get from staking, and the way that you talked about the system you envisioned for incentivize to go, like what Patrick said, instead of just giving them out because you got to give them out. But the idea was that these are very precious upvotes, super upvotes, and that you put them on the projects that were most likely to be receiving other actions, upvotes and comments and other things, so that there was some type of incentive profit sharing off of doing that. So it would, if it had the same mechanics, then you wouldn't want to just go tag the first 7 things you saw. You want to tag the 7 best things, because that gives you more juice somehow. I don't know if you could work that in, but that would be my thoughts, because you already laid that out for the non-analyst aspect.
I can actually elaborate on that a bit, because it's good for everyone to know what the plan is in that direction. This introducing super upvotes in this way is actually just one step to what you mentioned, to the next bigger step. And the next bigger step is that people who are not analysts, we would call them curators, they stake an amount of cure, let's say 100,000 or 500,000 cure, something like that. The more they stake, the more super upvotes they get per day or per week. And by super upvoting things, they are picking, because it's already getting to the point where it's actually difficult to read all the reviews in a day. And the more analysts join the platform, the more this is going to happen. Almost like Twitter, there's many reviews. So we need people who specialize in going through and finding the best reviews. And these curators would be financially incentivized to do that. So they stake an amount of cure that gives them super upvotes. Then they go through all the reviews. They find the best ones. They super upvote them. And that curates them into a new feed. So people can then follow the curators. By doing that, whenever they super upvote a review, and then regular users come in and just give regular upvotes, these curators then get points from a separate pool. They get points for every additional upvote that happens after they've super upvoted. And then we have a staking rewards pool that rewards those curators based on the super upvotes and based on the points they got from the super upvotes they've given out. This staking rewards pool would be refilled from a percentage of the revenues that we use to buy back Cure tokens from the market. So it's really a whole additional role that will be implemented, but we cannot go there directly because it requires quite a lot of stuff to be developed, including the staking mechanism itself, an entire accounting system that we need to build for that. So it's going to be technically quite a lot of stuff to do. But to start by moving from the first step, which we have now, which is analysts handing out regular upvotes, then jumping to those super upvotes, is the first step to getting to that later stage. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions? Because it might be quite a lot to process.
Yeah, I have some questions. So, what is stopping anyone? Let's say I just launched this shitcoin today, right? And I want to basically shill it to as many people as possible. So I sign up as a user, and let's be like for that I have a lot of cure. I'm a whale. I can basically afford to stake a shit ton of cure and get a lot of super upvotes. What's stopping basically projects or anyone who wants to shield their projects, shield their bags from just staking a lot of cure, getting super upvotes, and actually just upvoting the crap out of something which might not be a project.
What's stopping them is that they can get slashed. So that's the same as in proof of stake in Ethereum or whatever. Nodes that create the blocks have to stake tokens as a security collateral. And if they create false blocks, right? False information that other nodes don't verify, that they can get slashed, they lose their stake. And that's the same model here. The information that we create is the upvoting. And the way they get slashed is that because super upvotes are easy to track, as I just mentioned, you will be able to go, I can actually show, we don't have that, of course, yet for, sorry. I'll just quickly show, you can go to stats, and then you can see here who has most upvoted someone, who I have most upvoted, who has upvoted me most, how many do I give, many do I receive, and then you can see every individual upvote that I give. So if we're doing this for the super upvotes, it'll probably be a bit nicer than this. If you stake 1 million Cure, you only get 10 upvotes or so per week. So it's very easy for a bounty hunter to go check, oh, this is a whale curator. I'll go check the stats. I'll click on the post. And instead of these lines, you'll actually have all the 7 posts that they shared listed out here. And I think it will be quite easy for a bounty hunter then to see, hey, this is a crappy post, right? This doesn't deserve a super upvote. What they can do is then flag it. They can screenshot all of this. They can describe why they flagged it. And then it goes to a public vote up here. And then the community can vote whether this is shilling or it's not. Also, the voting itself will be a little bit more complicated. So also the voting itself, we will have it's not just one token, one vote, or one person, one vote. We will have some kind of like super users who have a lot of experience and kind of ethical board that can veto things and have a little bit stronger votes and things like that. That's how it would work. Or do you have any comments on that or additional questions? Or
that makes sense. Yeah, thanks.
Anyone else want to?
Earlier you asked a question and I was the only one answers, so I would be curious to hear what other people think about the price of doing a review would be 5 points, but an upvote would be 1 or 2, you said?
Yes, and the super upvote would be 20.
So I'd be curious to get other people input what they think.
I think this is pretty cool, and though I'm the new guy in our platform, and I just try my best to give the better improve my review.
Okay, so you're pretty happy with the point system so far. Personally, just want to say I really love your reviews, so looking forward for the next ones.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah.
Adrian, maybe, are you here?
I think the point system currently works fine, but I do agree with what Patrick said. Probably like for now, what I could envision would be maybe like a review being maybe 5 points, like what you say, right? And then an upvote being 10, maybe a super upvote being like 20 or 30 points. So that's probably to incentivize people from really writing quality posts. Okay. But I do agree with the current point system and the proposed changes.
Very good. That's great to hear. Yeah, and if anyone else wants to say something, either say now or you can message me later as well, give me your input. But then that would be pretty much it for now.
I was going to say, to me, it would be fine to lower the cost of making a post. So right now, making a post is 5 points, you said, right? Or 10 points? I forgot.
The idea is to change to 5. It is 10 right now.
Yeah, it's totally fine to move it down. It's just the upvote. I would not lower it. I would keep it above the earning of making a post by itself.
Yeah. The super upvote is still quite a bit higher. But the regular upvote will be quite low, just like 1 or 2 points, a regular upvote. Yeah.
Sorry, I was attending it, but I was busy all the time. I have a little daughter cooking. Yeah, my opinion about the upvoting, I think it's a little bit out of ratio right now with most analysts. So I am wondering how it will develop indeed with the super votes. And I'm curious to see how that will work out. Yeah, but I like it also with the channel and the idea sharing. I think also for me, like we talked, I fell for some rug pulls and such things. And I think this curator group is helping me thinking a bit more about stepping into a project, for example, with investing. Also with Daniel, I spoke a lot. In a way, not only I am enjoying making reviews and reading reviews, but I also enjoy the things that I learn more now and the depth views that I'm taking into diving into the project.
Thank you very much. Dan,
Dan, go ahead.
I just want to say something real quick. Anybody that's new in here or newer than me, let's just say, I have 110% trust in Mark's vision. He's always 2 steps ahead of every time I'm trying to like give them some idea. So I am all for giving you all the latitude you need, Mark. I know you have the best interest in how this program will work and be fair and not be gamified and taken advantage of. And I also want to thank you for soliciting our opinion, right? Because right now this is a startup. You are the CEO. This is what you want to do, but you are asking us what we think. And I hope everybody appreciates that, because that's very rare in this space and one of the reasons why I think we're going to be all successful. So thanks, man.
Yes, so what you said make a lot of sense. I didn't consider that, but imagine that the amount of analysts grow like a lot, like it's 1,000. The recommendation engine, like if someone start getting upvote, and there will be some, you may get extra visibility, and then everybody upvote you and upvote you and upvote you. I think the earning from upvote should have a decreasing multiplier the more you get, because at some point it needs to plateau, otherwise it's just going to push it up so much that it will or disrupt, and it will be just an outlier because it will fake the recommendation engine. It will fool it, basically. That's a danger.
I agree. I agree to a certain extent. We probably have to taper it down when it gets bigger. However, we do have an idea with whole curation, with the whole proof of curation, is that if you are a curator that stakes, and you go and you support reviews or analysts, obviously the easiest way would be to just support the highest earning ones. Everyone go after them, right? So to combat that, every staker who supports an analyst, a top analyst, every additional one gets less share of the staking rewards. That means a staker, a professional staker who professionally goes out to find good content, gets the highest earnings if they can go and find a new post or a new analyst that came to the platform that is talented. So they would really be incentivized to scour through all the reviews, subscribe to analysts that they really like, and then find new posts when they come out. Does that make sense?
It does. So that's exactly the danger that needs to be avoided, and I think that's a good model with the proof of stake. But saying that we still have to deal with the upvotes and super upvote. If like we get a large amount of analysts and then like only the top upvoted one get shown, then it will bias the system and people will get extreme amount of money compared to others.
Yes, that's definitely something we have to. Yeah, so for now, this system is a little bit the idea, but we have to be very. That's why we have to have these weekly calls, right, where we discuss these ideas, and over time, because I've been in the content industry, right? It's been YouTube for 5-6 years with millions of subscribers and millions of views. And even these big platforms have huge issues with trying to find out what is good content to show. And that's actually why me personally, the whole idea of Cyrator came from this development where we felt, me and AJ, we felt that these algorithm-driven stuff doesn't work because it always leads to that some posts just upvoted themselves because of the algorithm, not because they're good content. And that's why the goal is really to have a human curated system here where the curator has a financial incentive to go and find good content. But it will definitely be a stepped approach. So now we're started with the regular upvotes. Now we're coming to super upvotes. After that, we will introduce the staking. I think we will build quite a few additional steps to try and solve that problem.
Should we spend these upvotes by the end of the week? You mentioned 7 upvotes per week, right? Or it's up to us? Obligatory thing, or?
It's not obligatory, but so one thing I did want to mention, a couple of features that we're building and launching. We have not much time, so I'm just going to focus on the experience points. We haven't defined the numbers yet. We'll present it to you guys and tune it. This system will take a couple of weeks to build at least. But you will get experience points for giving up super upvotes. And for now, the idea is once you've given 50 or once you've received 50 experience points, you will level up to a level 2 analyst. And that will give you quite a big bump, probably like 25 or even 50% bump to your earnings, right? Giving super upvotes is just one way of getting experience points. You will get experience for voting and giving feedback to people, for submitting successful spotlights. So various contributions to the platform. So on the one side, we have the monetary reward of the tokens you get for writing and upvotes. But on the other side, we will have those experience points for various contributions. And once you get higher and higher levels, you just get more seniority in the platform. The whole thing is modeled after the Stack Overflow experience point system. So that therefore you will be really incentivized to give out the upvotes as much as possible, because getting a level up on your tier will be very beneficial.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Thank you.
I'm very excited about it. I think we'll be able to really foster a lot more additional contributions and not just the rating and reviewing.
Absolutely.
I think that sums it up.
Could we finish, since there's a few new people, I think it's always good for motivation. You mentioned earlier there was a pretty big bump on analytics. If you could share your screen and show that, that would be pretty good.
And ban. And yeah, I think this looks very good here, right? Our reviews are going up very high. We're talking about more than 10, I have to say dozens of reviews per day. It's going up. You can also look at daily. This is looking very good here, the reviews that we're putting in. Even accounts, we have a lot of people coming in to create accounts. We have new verified analysts coming in. Comments and upvotes are going up a lot as well. So it's just looking awesome. So yeah, I think that's maybe Jeroen. Do you want to say, you said hi already, but you haven't really introduced yourself yet. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. I can give a brief introduction. My name is Jeroen. Doesn't matter. I listen to both. I'm 37. I'm from the Netherlands, and I've been with Cyrator for about 3 weeks now, I think. You know me from the guy who is constantly annoying on top of the leaderboard, probably. But yeah, I have done a lot of research before Cyrator, and I have a lot of documents ready for myself to dive in. But yeah, it also helps that I really enjoy doing it. And I think that I'm a factual person. So if I write something, then I actually really dive deep in it. And that's the same with the Bricken part. I know it is confusing, but I was already following it for 8 months. And I also invested heavily in it. I knew that he was with the lawyer part. So I knew about the securities things also a little. And yeah. But yeah, I hope to contribute and to get our goals to become successful together. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Oh yeah, and I'm a business analyst also for my profession, my nature, I think.
Thank you very much. Very nice to meet you. Yeah, great. I think that's mostly it, unless someone else wants to say something. I think we can pack up and see each other next week.